Facebook yet? Howdy, folks, howdy. I see we got one person already in here. All right, that's working. Drunk call, that's all I hear from you these days. Cause a drunk call, that's all I hear from you these days. That's where it's at, baby. Uh-oh. Spaghetti. What are these leftover parts here? I need a short one. Just like the other one. That's not a short one. There's a short one. Yes! Alright. Out of sight, not on mine. Ready. Let's go this way. What else is there? I got two people. All right. So, welcome everybody Looks like we got 2 people in the room. We're doing the morning and evening streams here. What a crazy hairdo. Alright, I gotta get another piece of ebony. I'll be right back. Ebony and ivory. Alright, looks like we got 1 person in here. Cutting up some ebony today to make some designs for a banjo company. We make products for the Sullivan Banjo Company. I mean, we make them for everybody, but they all go to Sullivan. He distributes them. So if you need anything you see me making, call up the Sullivan Banjo Company. He'd be happy to supply you guys with anything. All right, don't forget the description has a donation link. Don't forget to subscribe. We're only 150 people away from subscribing for monetization. But give me a few minutes to set this up, then I'll glue a rim together. Y'all can see how Rezo gets glued. I do 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 Scooby doo doo. All right, so we take this ebony, and then we put a polymer coating on the back of it so it sticks to a vacuum. Hey, who is that? Johan Rocket? Dude, I ain't seen you in a long time, man. What's up, Johan? Man, I've known you forever. We used to hang out to Hobo Island at the sandbox, man. If you're the same Johan Rocket, I hope you are. If you're not, then we haven't hung out. Yeah, it is you. I know it's you. How did you get this link, man? Did somebody put it in SL? You're not a banjo player, are you? Ah. So yeah, I'm gonna show everybody how to make this rim here in a second. Right now I'm putting this is a sheet of ebony, and we put a polymer on the back to make it stick to vacuum, and then we cut out designs. Ah, awesome, man. I didn't know they did that in SL. That's awesome. So yeah, I make this, and but I can't show what's cutting on here. It's copyrighted. So I have to make this this part of it. I can't show you guys the cutout, but I'm going to show you how to do that, man. Really good to see you, Johan. Man. Cool. All right. Yeah, Johan, man, that's pretty awesome. I got to see that. Man, I remember Hobo Island. That is an awesome place. Had so much fun that little sandbox. Man, met so many hundreds of people. I met a girl from California in that sandbox. Flew me all the way out to California, man, for about 3 or 4 weeks. Pretty awesome place, man. Played my banjo out there. She had me booked at a pizza parlor. Alright, so one of the first things we do every morning is we screw up this glue. Let me look over. I can't read the text. Noxus is on here too. Man. Yeah, all these old hobos. I was a hobo with you guys, man. I was a newbie hobo when I met you guys. You guys were all pro hobos. Hobo Island, what a fantastic journey that was. I was so sad when it closed. The first thing we do is we get all this glue up here. We got to stir it. You was forced to come here. Yeah, no lie. You know you want to be here. You want to be here just like everybody else. Don't make me start talking about Trump. Woo! Looney said, show up or I'm going to sit down and take your pictures of you everywhere. We have ways of getting people to subscribe. That's the first thing we do every morning. We stir up the glue. I don't have no beer for nobody, man. I wish. But if you want to click on the donation button in the description below, I'll be happy to drink one in front of you. From Germany. Das gut. Bitte, bitte. Yeah. We have ways of making you like us and subscribe. Yeah. Be a part of the madness. Join Cosmic in his crazy adventures. I mean, where else can you tune in? This is the only place on the internet where you can tune in and watch some crazy guy make banjo parts. Where else are you gonna find that? You can't see it at Joe Rogan. You can't see it with Tim Pool. You can't see it with that crazy guy. What's that guy's name? He does all that stuff all the time. Crowder, Steve Crowder, or Jim Crowder, or whatever Crowder he is. Yeah, I dare any of those guys come over and make rims with me. Show how tough they are. Yeah, spend 8 hours a day doing this to feed your mom. Oops, I was gonna drink this. I gotta drink this. Thanks for the like. Okay, this is top secret glue. My boss sends it to me from Alabama. From what I understand, it's a type of hide glue. So this here is what's called a resonator. This is what I make. I make circles for a living, and this is a resonator. Resonator wall. On a banjo, it's the part on the back that has a curve on it, a wooden back on it. And the banjo is a smaller part. I don't have a banjo rim, but this is the size of a banjo rim. This is the part you actually play. It's also a snare drum or a tambourine. This is the back to the banjo. So this one fits on top and this one goes in, this is your back. So that's what I'm making right now is the back parts. Pretty cool that Hobo showed up, man. I get so sad sometimes, man. I remember I used to get real sad back then, man, and I go to Hobo Island and end up laughing all day, kicking the blues. Red J rim ball, skull. What was that redhead chick? Man, she was pretty cool. I can't remember. She was a redhead, she was cool. Had lots of girlfriends come out of that place, man. You know, when I first went to Hobo, I didn't know people dated on the internet, you know? Or not dated, but met on the internet. I kind of figured people did. Next thing you know, I got girls flying down here from Maine and Rhode Island, and hell, one girl drove down here from Canada. She was a truck driver. Come down to see me from Hobo Island. Her name was Shammy. Or that was her second life name. So you drinking over in Germany, let's say if you're in Germany, it must be like 10 o'clock at night, man. It's beer 30 over there. All right, I gotta change the bits on my CNC. I'll be right back. Give me a second. All right, I just changed the bits on the CNC machine. They have, it's called a tool change. Sometimes it takes a 32nd inch bit, sometimes it takes a 64th inch bit, and that's what I just changed. So right now we're putting on this reso wall. Please subscribe and like if you can, man. Subscribing. We're only 150 people away from being monetized, man. Now this wall, you gotta like spread it apart. Like you gotta be strong. Go to the wrong spot. So first you gotta turn it to the right spot. Then you're like, ah. Horror matey. We make wheels. We do here. All right. Now the next thing we gotta do. Got a clamp. Now this is the old school way. We don't show the new school way. Pretty dangerous. So we show the old school way. Don't do anything we do at home. I mean anywhere. This is all dangerous. So don't do any of this, man. And by the way, there ain't no money in this, man. I make $4 an hour. So if you're thinking about starting a rim factory, good luck. So when you're making a reso wall, first thing you got to do is make sure when it's to this point, before you get the steam vent going, you got to make sure that it's perfectly level. You don't want any torque on these things at all, man, because that's potential energy that could twist it later on when they put it on a lathe. There's several key factors to this too, man. Like you'll notice that all these rims back here don't have anything connecting them. They're all sitting there circled. They don't have any kind of clamps on them. They stay in a circle. That's the first trick. If you can get past that, then you can start making rims. But if your rims don't stay, the wood don't stay round, and you got to force it to be round onto a something to glue it. Then when you put it on a lathe, it's just going to cock on you, or later on when it's on a banjo, it's going to twist, and it's going to take all the sound out of it. Send a banjo for Christmas? Man, it takes a long time to build a banjo. You can go to Sullivan Banjo Company and order one of our, all these go to there, so that's what they make them out of. Be warned though, the rims that these banjos go in are $4,000 and $5,000 banjos. So, but I'm making a $500 banjo. We just started doing neck cutting for it. It won't look like a master tone or nothing, but if you want a kit in about a month, we'll have a kit where you can bolt it together. And cool little banjo used for practicing. Yeah, man, I remember Grumpy and Bags. Bags was so awesome, dude. When he passed away, dude, I cried. He was an awesome dude. Bags was a really good guy. Bonehead, that's the redhead I was talking about. Her name was Bonehead. Yeah, she was pretty cool, man. I like talking to her. Smart too. Smart. Bonehead and it's 6 in the evening in Germany, so you're a beer 30 in Germany. How long does it take to build a whole banjo? I guess it depends on how big the place that building it is. As far as making one of these rims, just the rim probably takes 6 weeks to get to where this is. It has to. Well, it's a process, man. First you gotta go to the sawmill. Because you can't, if you're trying to make money, you can't afford to buy lumber at a lumber company. You just won't make any money. This thing will end up costing you a couple $100 just to make one. So you got to go find a sawmill, and I found one way up in the Smoky Mountains that actually does local trees. So this is Tennessee Smoky Mountain wood, and because it's up in the hills and the hollers and it's dangerous to even go up in there. It's dangerous, man. I mean, like if they don't know you, you won't make it out up there. So to get up in there and get this wood, bring it back to Louisville, I buy a truckload. I mean, a couple thousand, $5,000 worth of wood. Stocker taller than me. And so it comes down here, and then it sits out here in the yard. It's fresh. We don't dry it. We do it green, basically. So at that point is when I start making it. So at that point, I bring these big old 20-foot lumber boards in here. Sometimes they're 15, 16 inches wide. I start dicing them up. I make planks out of them, and eventually you get planks like this. Planks like this. This is the 2 size. This plank will make snare drums, tambourines, and banjos. This plank only makes the outside reso walls for banjos. So you got to take all that raw lumber and make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these things. And once they get down to there, you got to put a wedge on them. So when you wrap them, they wrap. Then you got to soak them in water for a couple weeks. So just this part right here takes about 4 to 6 weeks to get a rim going. And then from then on out, you got to build a neck and build the rest of it. So I would say, if you ordered, let's say, a Sullivan Vintage 35, from the start to end, I bet it would take you a couple months to finish one. Because they're so perfect, though. I mean, them banjos are just perfect, man. There's probably not a better banjo made than a Vintage 35, Sullivan Vintage 35. They used, you know, the wood alone is called historic oak floor wood. This here is a plank from a building that was torn down in 1876. I've got piles of this wood out here for the Sullivan Banjo Company. They sent me this wood, and it's still in original form from when they tore the building down. You can even see nail holes. So this plank makes something called an old growth, old factory floor wood rim. To make one of these costs about $500. This wood, just finding a piece of it out of all that scrap that can be bent, takes hours and hours and hours. And then when you get it, it still might not bend because this is hundreds of years old. So that's why that banjo is the best. When you get a tone ring made out of this old factory floor or wood rim, man, the banjo is just wow, it blows you away. It's incredible what this wood does. So this is the Rolls Royce, and then this is the regular standard. This is soft maple. Soft maple comes from the mountains of Tennessee, and that's what all banjos are made out of. Kind of like the majority of them are soft maple, and those banjos go anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. That old factory floor wood, though, man, that stuff has a sound that I can't describe it. It's unlike any wood we use. So y'all from Hobo Island, remember I used to write songs and stuff all the time. Remember that? I'd sit there and make up songs. You know, people could come up to me while I was sitting there drinking beer and they'd say, hey, write a song about this. And so I was write a song. I can write songs real easy. So the other night, I get a call from my ex-girlfriend or whatever she is. She's all drunk. And I thought to myself I'd write this song. It goes, drunk calls, that's all I hear from you these days. When you left me, I thought you were going far away. But drunk calls, that's all I hear from you these days. I'm hoping someday she'll forget me and the drunk calls will go away. I thought that I was like listening to her, like, oh my God, no. You left me 9 months ago. Why you calling me? Woo! All right, 40 people. So what's it like in Germany, Johann? Are y'all having a good time over there? Oh yeah, dude. I hang out at a place called Bug Island now at Second Life when I ain't got nothing to do. I work a lot, man. I take care of my mom. She has Alzheimer's, and she lives right like 5 feet from this garage, and I live upstairs. So I have a lot of work to do. It's pretty sad. She's in her final stages. So I do a lot of work, and that way I can watch her, and I can still try to make a few bucks while I'm taking care of her. But if there's nothing to do at nighttime, I go to a place called Bug Island. It's kind of sad, only like 7 or 8 people get there at a time or something. And then if I'm not there, sometimes I go to a karaoke bar called the O Lounge. O is in O Lounge, and I go there and I do karaoke, and sometimes I play guitar and banjo. You know, get bored. My mom. I can't leave the property very easily because my mom can flip out. She has sometimes sundowners in the late stages of Alzheimer's. She's and so up until recently, I haven't been able to leave. She's going through another phase now where she's calming down. Maybe I'll get out. So that's why I go to Second Life, man. You get stuck here on this property. You can't go nowhere because she can flip out any day or night. I got cameras everywhere. I got the gates locked so she can't run down the street. So you got to be here, you know. So I go to Second Life to hang out and have a blast, man. Something I can do, and I can still watch my mom on cameras while I'm on Second Life. But yeah, that's the only 2 places I go anymore. There's not that many people on Second Life compared to when we was on there. And so I don't do gigs. I used to make a lot of money playing music on Second Life, but it's way, way down now. Yeah, people buy these things. Well, Sullivan Banjo's pretty famous, man. So he's selling them. I don't sell them, man. I wish I could, man. I'm in an all black area, and I can't even put up a sign that I teach banjo lessons, man. I mean, I can't even wear this hat outside without somebody kind of pick a fight with me. I got to be careful what I do. But if once all my mom passes or I can move, I'm going to move to the country, and I'm going to start having jam sessions around my shop. Can't do it out here though, man. That's I don't know. The media's driven people nuts, man, and they want to get mad at you when you play a banjo in this urban kind of situation. So, but yeah, man, people still buy these banjos. Every time a movie comes out, like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Man, it's like they sell millions of them. I don't know Kenneth Carden, man. I'm kind of new in this industry. I've been doing this about 5 years. I used to make airplane brake box parts for shipping airplanes out of CNCs. And then I found out Eric Sullivan was having problems with the company making really bad rims for him, because he was kind of like next to the aircraft company that I was delivering little brake parts. I used to make these little parts that go into shipping crates so that the parts don't move when they ship them. And so I go by his place to say hi because I'm a banjo player. His dad made my banjo, the same one I used on the Opry all them years, Opryland and stuff. So they're kind of my friends. And I went by there, and he was having problems with rims, and I said, dude, I'm stuck at home. I can't leave because my mom's got Alzheimer's. If I can make you a good rim, would you buy them from me? Instead of, because you're obviously having problems. He said, if you make one that's better than this, I'll buy every one you can make. And so far, he's bought every rim, and now I got to make these rims, and now I make all kinds of stuff for the guy, man. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I like Eric, man. He's a good dude. I wish he wouldn't have moved to Alabama, though. He wants me to move to Alabama. I would, but you know, I bet the women down there are just as crazy as the women up here, so what's the difference? I don't know. I've been having female problems for months now. Like 3 girls just drive me nuts. Or 3 women, they're not girls. And I'm like, it's pretty easy to like me. All you gotta do is, you know, don't knock on Christians, number 1. Don't talk politics with me. That's a good one. And you gotta like bluegrass music. I love bluegrass music. I like Ralph Staley and all them guys. I love singing that stuff. Of course, you guys from Hobo Island know me, man. I've been singing on there. Yeah, you can't live with them, can't live without them. And these days, you have to be a communist to be with them. I had a girlfriend break up with me because she thought I was a Trump supporter. Of all the things to break up with somebody over. I mean, I'd probably vote for the guy just because, you know, she pissed me off. But I don't have Trump signs. According to her, I'm a homophobe, racist, Trump supporter. Yeah. And I made the mistake of telling her to calm down when she was yelling at me about Trump. That made it worse. Whoa! It was just like, ah! I had to hang up on her. I was like, calm down. Oh! Don't ever say that to a woman. That's a bad thing. Yep. Then she calls me up. She's like, well, how'd you read my Facebook page? I'm like, you defriended me like 9 months ago. Why should I? I don't know. I just don't know anything about women, man. I just try to ride along, make it happy, you know. Par for the course. So I like to ramble when I'm working, so be used to that. All right. So one thing you got to do when you use headphones is you got to check them for spiders. This is a wood shop. One time I opened up my headphones and put them on. I just looked over because when I was in the Air Force, they trained me to look in your headphones, you know, make sure there's no obstructions and stuff. And I looked down, there was a black widow, a male black widow. He was that big. And so ever since then, now I'm like, before I put on my headphones, man, I do that too just to piss them off. All right, so. This stuff is heavy. man. And that's how the reservoirs work. We're gonna make some more here. If you notice, I put my hands on the C-clamps when I'm ratcheting them. That's because them suckers can slip off there and knock you in the head, man. I swear I was like ratcheting one day, and I didn't have my hand down there because I didn't know it. And that thing slipped off and put a big old dent in the ceiling. About knocked me in my head. As you can tell from all the glue left over, I do a lot of these rails, man. Woo! Do a lot of rails. Do a lot of rails. If you guys, any of y'all are banjo builders out there, you can go to the Sullivan Banjo Company and get these things. What I'm showing you guys today is the old school way, or the way we used to make the rims with the C-clamps. The customer that's picking these up from Eric wants these made by hand, so we make them with clamps. Otherwise, I use other methods, and I can't show them because they're top secret too. But this is how they originally did them, with the C-clamps. Man, I sure do miss Hobo Island. Hey man, at that Bug Island, I met a guy named AJ. He hooked up, he told me how to hook up all this stuff so I could stream like I'm doing there. And so Second Life is still very useful, man. It didn't cost me a penny. He said, man, you've already got all the stuff. He said, just do this and hook this up and run this over there. He's one of them computer repair guys. So man, Second Life is a very useful place if you can deal with it. It's crazy in there, man. As Johan knows, that's some of the crazy. I would never recommend it to anybody though. If you're not used to what the internet can do, don't go into Second Life. That place is plumb nuts. But if you're crazy like me and you can deal with the craziness, it's a lot of fun. She's crazy, crazy over me. Yeah, if any of y'all want to click the like button or subscribe, we're only 150 people away from subscribing. Now that's a steam bin circle, man. No clamps, nothing's holding this together. If your wood ain't doing this, you ain't bending right, man. I mean, that thing's been sitting there for a month. It's still in a circle. Could sit there for a year and it ain't moving. It took me years to figure out how to do that perfect, man. But yeah, if y'all want to 180 degrees at a time, well, that depends on the thread. See how these are thin threads? And these are thicker, coarser threads. It depends on what the thread count is, on how much you're turning it. I've just been doing this for so many years that I can tell how tight something is by the friction that it's producing. I can't explain it to you, but I can tell how tight it's getting. Also, I'm looking at the rim and looking for gaps. So even though I can tell how tight this is supposed to be, if it's not tight enough, you'll see a gap, and you can't have any gaps. Anything that comes out here with a gap gets cut in two. We don't set anything out with a gap. And but yeah, it probably would be in a perfect situation. But there's also things you got to worry about. for example, you're using a block of wood. This is a block of wood to press that stuff together. If you get too much pressure on this, it can leave an impression on this. And this is the surface that they're going to finish. And you don't want any dents in here because they're not really taking much off of here. Maybe a 1/16 on both sides, an 1/8 inch makes it perfect round. And and that's another thing they want me to do when I make these. They want me to make them as perfect as I can, so that when they put them on a lathe, there's not much to do, you know, because that's all production. Whereas they put one that's got different sizes and nobody does it right, they have to work it. They don't want to work it. They want to put this thing on there, and it's ready to go to the factory and put together. So they want this to be as round as possible. And so I don't put extra torque on these because it'll put a crease in there. And you gotta watch. I used to measure it all like in foot-pounds and all that, but man, you know, you can't run a business like that. You gotta figure out what it is and go with it. If I was in the Air Force, everything I touched had to be mic'd, and you know, you can't do what I'm doing here. You can't guess out there. They got guys that'll walk up on you and pull the book away from you, and if you can't repeat the last sentence of the thing you were working on, you get a stripe taken away from you. So that's a whole different concept. And here it's more like get it tight, make sure there's no gaps. If I had stuff like when I worked at Ford, they got torque wrenches, like ratchets that have torque on the back of them, so you can set the torque. I would set it so that I knew it would be a certain thing all the way around. But the thing is you got to do this. You got to get all your rims to sound the same. See how that one sounds a little bit more than this one? The majority of them will sound like this one. But if you do it just right, they all sound exactly the same. So you get maybe a little variance, like this one's a little. But I can take two of them. Now these two are exact. These two match exactly. Same tone, same note, and that's only possible by getting the torque same, you know, getting used to knowing how much to torque it by hand and get it all on there. But you're right about the 180 if you had a choice of crossing it, or the turning it 180 degrees on the wrench itself. But I'm going to show you here in a second why I don't go 180 degrees around, and it's what I call zipping. So let me show you what zipping is. So this thing has a wedge on it on both ends, right? So that when you glue it, this turns out the same distance. So when I tighten it, I go like this because I'm pushing the excess gap out and pushing this around, so I tighten it to here. If it was a car rim or an airplane rim, you would go this way and go 180 degrees, or if airplane, you gotta go 90, 180. Anyway, on here, I'm pushing this around. So when I'm squishing it, I'm squishing all the excess out to this piece, which is still loose. So that by the time it gets to here, all this is flat and squished together. But if I did it 180 degrees, there might be a little gap here, a little gap here, you know? So that's why I do it. Yeah. So here we go for number 2. Drunk calls, that's all I hear from you these days. When you left me, thought you were going far away. But drunk calls, that's all I hear from you these days. Maybe someday you'll forget me and the drunk calls will go away. I'm gonna make that a hit, man. Drunk calls. All right. Put some more glue, put some more glue. This process is called buttering the glue. It's like spreading butter on toast. You gotta butter both ends. Butter side down. Butter side up. Butter side down. Whew. All right. Well, we got 8 people on the stream. So I'm going to show you what zipping is right here. Zippity doo dah, zippity doo. Now, man, with a zippity way. All right. So, okay. This rim's on here. So, first thing we do is we place holders. These are called holders. So, a holder is simply loosely holding the rim in place. These are not tightened. And I don't know why this one is not unloose. Now, there's going to be 4 of these, but they're not tight. They're just barely tight enough. I can still move this rim on here. For example, it's a little bit loose. I can still pop this up like that. Make sure it gets perfect 180 degrees. So here's the second placer. It's 90 degrees. But once again, it's just barely tight. I mean, I can still move that rim under that clamp. Here's the third one. It's going to be 180 degrees. Now what the placers do, the holders do, is they're going to hold it in place when I'm zipping so that it doesn't fall up or down. So right now, I'm going to tap it down a little bit. And that's why they're loose, so you can tap it like that. Now here's the fourth one. Okay, so I got my placers on there. The placers are taut, they're not tight. They're there enough to keep it there when I'm getting ready to zip it. Now what zipping is, I'm going to start here, and I'm going to work my way around. It's going to squeeze it all, and it's going to slide through these. You might not be able to see it, but the rim, these are loose enough for it's going to slide around so that I'm not torquing any kind of gaps together. I don't want nothing on this rim that can lead to it twisting when it gets onto a lathe. Because once you cut all that up on a lathe, it's going to get, if it's not perfectly glued, it'll twist. And some people have been trying to get used to that by cutting a little off of their lathe, letting it twist, and then going in and cutting the rest of it off, which is really bad on your production time. So, you find out right here is where it glues together. We start past the first zipper, the first holder, and we start zipping. So, we got to put our headphones on. We got to check for spiders. No spiders? Banjo hangout? All right. Where is it? There it is. So I'm zipping. I'm squishing it together like a zipper. Let me show you what the zip's doing. Okay, let me just do it this way. You see how that's there? So as I'm going around, I'm squishing that out. It's going to slide under this one next, and then it'll squish it out, and the gap will come all the way around to here, where it can slide over the top of that piece and be squished. Because if I did the 180 degree like in the Air Force, that would just be pushed into place while these are taut, and it would put extra torque on the rim that shouldn't be there. So we don't want to torque it, so we zip it. Zip it. Zip it good. Zip it all day. Zip it all night. I'm a zipping out of sight. Woo! Dynamite! Don't forget to subscribe, folks. I'll be doing this every day, and then I do a night show. Last night we cut a truss rod for her neck because I'm bored out of my skull. I can't leave the property because I got to watch my mom. Now you see how loose this placer was? It fell off because I keep them loose. Now I connect these three together. And as far as the screw goes, I try to get a 360 out of it. If you do it all just right when you're doing it, and you tie and tighten them just enough to where they just do one revolution. That's kind of like if you get really good at it. But that's your goal, is to try to get that thing where you only have to twist it once. Twist it once and twist it twice. Hey, it's a Christmas season now, hey! By the way, folks, we got an ESTY account. If you look on our description down there, you can go to ESTY to help support us. Buy a mug. We make like $1 off every mug. Please go over there and pick up a mug or a Christmas ornament. We just made the Viking shield Christmas ornaments. So you can hang little Viking shields on your Christmas tree. You can donate. We always take donations. This whole company was built off of donations, man. There's no money in this stuff. Like I said, I make $3 or $4 an hour. So we all gladly accept donations. Most of it goes to help the mom, but we'll take equipment. Sometimes we need equipment. Let's do all four. This last one here, this is the keystone, the cornerstone. This last one here is the most important because it closes the gap between the two pieces of wood. So this has to be loose to allow them to slide under their final little push to be together. Because we've zipped it all the way around, and all the slacks come out and pushed over the top of that other one. So it still has to sit there a little loose until we can squish the rest of it out and then lock it. I do that 10 times every time I make one of those because all this wood's so heavy, you gotta be in shape to pick this crud up, man. It's heavy. 4 likes, we got 4 likes, all right. We better get more likes or I'm gonna start preaching. gonna start telling you about your sinful ways because you didn't like the channel. Yeah. Let me go refresh my tea. I'll be right back. And then we'll do this last rim. I got one more, so. Let me get a tea. I'll be right back. I gotta take my mom her lunch. My mom's got Alzheimer's and stopped eating sometime in September. She almost died. And one of the nurses that came over for hospice discovered that she will eat these little breakfast bar things. But since then, she's kind of come back to life, man. I mean, they thought she was gonna die. So I gotta take her little breakfast bars over here. That's the toughest part of taking care of your mom is every time you walk in, you got to find out if she's still alive. It goes on for years. It never gets any easier every time you look. wonder what I'm doing there. When we designed all this system, it's a 1-inch hole, and that's a 1-inch diameter pipe. Well, it's been cut down on at least 1-inch diameter. And at the time I was new to all this, I just didn't realize that if something's 1 inch a hole and something's 1 inch round, they don't fit together. So we clean them out a little bit. You gotta have like if you got a 1-inch shaft, you need like a 1 1/16 or something bigger to make sure that the shaft fits on there. So if you're new to CNCs and stuff, 1-inch pipes don't fit in 1-inch shafts. You would think they would. I mean, they say 1 inch, but it doesn't work like that. Woo, here we go, folks. I'm glad so many people tuned in for the morning show. I usually do 2 of these. I usually do 1 in the morning, like this, or the afternoon, and I'll do 1 at night, because I kind of work 2 shifts here. If you hear a machine going in the background, I'm cutting inlays for a customer. Well, I mean, they all go through Sullivan Banjo Company, but they're different people hire me out through him. So if you're a banjo builder, guitar builder, whatever, you need parts, you call that guy. And he's like a banjo genius too, and he'll get me to make your stuff for you. Circles. It took years to figure out how to make circles round without any clamping. I'm very proud of that. That's hard to do. I've done about just everything in my life except successful relationships with females. I got all kinds of guy friends who pick banjo that they're fun to hang out with. Try to date a woman's difficult. But yeah, I'm real successful at this. If I could just be successful with understanding relationships, I'd probably be in a good one. Well, wife, I found a motion. Ow! Can't worship there today. The meeting house was founded new, and they were years ago. What I found out when I went in was that beautiful show. I'll tell you why it done me good. Sing those hymns once more. I felt just like a refugee. We got a glimpse of shore. Oh, this is one of them hard ones. We're nearing Canaan's happy land. Our hopes are bright and fair. Thank God we'll never sin again. There'll be no sorrow there. In heaven above, all is love. There'll be no sorrow there. Woo! I love bluegrass gospel, man. That stuff will get you right in the heart every time. Yeah, when I was younger, I used to play in a band called the Kentucky Ramblers. I think now it's called Gary Brewer and the Kentucky Ramblers. But Man, I used to see Ralph Stanley sing this song with his band called Rank Strangers. I wandered again to my home in the mountain. When you started dawn, I was happy and free. I looked for my friends, but never could find them. I found they were all rank strangers to me. Man, he'd sing that tenor. Ralph's had a unique tenor singing ability, man. It would just make the hair on your neck stand up. I miss that guy. God, I miss them all. Used to hang out with Keith Whitley, man. I was in the Air Force at the time. I was with the Ramblers. And I was seeing some pretty horrific stuff. Kind of stuff that never goes away. So when I would go with the Ramblers, we'd go somewhere for the weekend, play in a little small town somewhere, open it up for Bill Monroe, Ralph Stanley, and Larry Sparks every time. And at the 11 o'clock at the end of the show, well, I'd sneak off into the woods to be by myself because all this crap I was seeing in the military, I just didn't want to be around nobody. So I'm up in the woods. Sometimes I'd take me a beer up in there and sneak off, you know. Well, the next thing you know, here comes a fiddle player from Larry Sparks' band. I won't name names. And I'll name Keith Whitley because he's passed away. And then next thing you know, he tells Keith Whitley, because Keith Whitley was Ralph Stanley's lead singer. So all of a sudden, Keith Whitley's up there in the woods with me drinking a beer, you know. And I'm up there, you know, like I was trying to be by myself. Next thing you know, all these famous side guys are like, hey, he's like us or something, I don't know. And so all these famous side guys started getting to know me. And then when the Air Force transferred me to Nashville, I knew all these famous side people, man. And I used them for all my gigs, and Opryland was crapping their pants. They're like, how do you know these people? And I didn't want to tell them. I was like, oh, just trying to be alone. And they surrounded me, man. I don't know. And I just said, I don't know, man. I just know them all. And they loved that, man. I could have people that played with the Osborne brothers, like Steve Thomas, playing fiddle for me the next day at an Opryland gig inside the lobby of the hotel. And they were like, he was just on the Opry last night. I'm like, yeah, that's what he does for a living. Why don't y'all put me on there? But they would never put me on there like that. I was always I was the kind of musician that Opryland would hire to stand out in front of the Grand Ole Opry and play banjo while people would walk into the Grand Ole Opry. And then when the show started, they'd give me a backstage pass. Of course, I had Opryland badges and stuff. And I'd go backstage and hang out and talk to Minnie Pearl and stuff. But I never was a main act on the show. Sometimes through the union work, I got to be on the Opry show. A lot of times we were doing shows on the Opry that weren't the Opry show, but they were related, like benefits for sick children, retarded children, disabled children. I was always getting paid to do that on the Opry for them. Because then they'd sell tickets in the Opry, and they'd have some famous guy singing, and they'd make a lot of money. So I got my holders in place. This is where the overlap is. So I'll start the next holder over. Check your headphones for spiders. No spanky. Spanky? What's Spanky doing in here? What's Spanky, man? Long time no see, brother. I hope you're still here to hear me say that. Damn, me and Spanky go back as long as Johan and other people. So we got the holders in place. Now we're going to zip it shut. It's like a zipper. Ooh, that was almost one rip. to zip it shut. Zip it! Zip it good. Just like you do, you would. Zip it! Hey, I don't know if y'all remember Dragon, but Dragon comes in here sometimes to the shows. He was a hobo. I got a vintage retro 51 full of my favorite crackers that I grew up on. There's old Hank and Lefty and there's B-24. Set 'em up, Joe, play walk. Oh, that's not good. That's two. Should never turn 2 times. I must have had it on there loose. Gonna spend every night before playing kitty. I'm gonna play him some more. Gotta have a shot of those old troubadours. Yes, and up we walk. Well, my SL neighbors, they like what I play. 'Cause they heard it every night since you walked away. Every night they play. Every night I run a every night I run a to walk on the floor. Every night I run to walk in the floor. Every night I run to walk in the floor. Hey, get that logo. Okay, that's the zip. Okay, this is the zip, right? This is the top of the zipper. This one stays kind of loose. And we're going to finally zip it all the way up. Now it's zipped, and we got to check to see if it's all tight. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. 3 rezos made up. AJ's here. Hey, AJ. Man, I can't believe Spanky's here. Man, I ain't seen Spanky in a long time, brother. Woo. Man, I miss the hobos. I miss every one of y'all, man. There's a lot of fun up there. So, Yurt, that's Lynn there, Yurt. He's got me saying it now. I go around going, Yurt. Next time I get a drunk call from ex-girlfriend, I'm gonna go, Yurt, 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 Yurt. See if she responds. got 6 likes, man. We've never had that many likes. Yeah, tonight I think we're going to work on the fretboard. Tonight, I think that's what tonight's show is going to be like. After I end this stream, sometime here in a little bit, we're going to do a show after 5, maybe 6. And we'll do some more work on the guitar. We're building an electric guitar. And I'll show you, last night we did the truss rod. This is the truss rod. We were making sure that this fits, but I got a design, you see, right from here to here has got to be tightened up. This had to be loosened last night. We got this part fixed. Tonight we're going to try to fix that part. And then this is the truss rod that'll be in the necks of guitars and banjos. But the first one that gets made is going to be a Les Paul reproduction for a friend of mine named AJ. He helped me get the software and all kinds of stuff. Another great SL person. SL's so full of amazing people, it's awesome. But that's what we did last night. Tonight we're going to try to make a fretboard. Because see, your fretboard glues right on top of this before you cut out the neck. The shape is, and then you got to double side cut it. You cut one side, make the design, then you flip it over to what you're seeing here. And then this cuts in, and then you glue a fretboard on top, and then you shave it off, and that's your neck, man. So, but this is my downstairs system. This is a PC. My friend AJ also helped me learn how to do remote controlling PC. So this PC is actually connected to the PC upstairs. And since there's so many people here from the Banjo Hangout, I'll show y'all the shop. This is where we cross-cut our wood. This is a manifold. Oh, it's a Christmas tree my dad made. Get ready to put it outside. Use a planer and a saw and a big sander and a small sander. And over here's the leftover stuff. Like I said, if a rim doesn't come out right, we cut it in half. This is the halves. If we don't like it, like these are rejects, they'll be cut in half. I was dating a person that was making witch symbols out of these, like a crescent moon or something. But I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to make any more of those or not. Maybe that's why she's nuts. I don't know. But this is cherry, man. This is really old cherry here. I actually made some cherry 2-ply rims for the Sullivan Banjo company they got down there. And man, when you cut that stuff up, it smells so beautiful. And this is cherry. I like cherry. Tell you what, I got a special piece of walnut I've been saving to make a neck out of around here somewhere. Where is that sucker? It's probably buried down in here somewhere. Oh, I can't find it. It's right here somewhere. Well, I'll dig it out later. But we got a special piece of walnut that's going to be made for rims. This is a steam bending machine. We steam bend all of our rims in here. I invented this machine. Press it. Isn't that cool? Pedal operated. Check out this steampunk gear. Is that cool or what, man? I put all that together out of spare parts I had laying around. And somebody donated this. I take all kinds of donations. And somebody said, hey, you want that? And I was like, hell yeah, I'll take that. And that's the transfer unit. The transfer, not only does it reduce the gear reduction, but it also transfers at 90 degrees. Transducer. So yeah, a little sewing machine motor. All that right there is all the wood we got cut up for making rims. And those will be rims. Those are old factory floor. That's why they're separated over here. Those are regular resonator rims that we'll be making next week. These are banjo rims that are all dried and ready to make banjos out of. These are soaking tubes that soak all the wood to be bent. That's what I'm proud of. That's my rack, man. Without that thing, I'd be lost. And down here, all that's rims. That's resonator wood. That sits here because this device puts the wedges on them that you see when they overturn each other, when they come together. That's my favorite CNC, man. That thing is very dangerous, but I love it. But man, these things are so dangerous that sometimes they'll pick up a shortwave radio signal and they'll just take off, man, because the wiring's not shielded. And man, it's just like you got to be careful. Always put on emergency stop because these Chinese equipment is not shielded. When it picks up a different frequency from something, a TV or whatever, boom, it'll just take off, man. And if your hand's in the way, that's like a Terminator. It's just going to take your hand with it. So yeah, I can't show you all the other stuff. That's kind of top secret over there. I can show you all the pearl cutting machine. And back here is the pearl cutting machine. And this is cutting a inlay right now. This is what you call a pocket. It's pocketing out the wood so that you can put mother of pearl in there. That's my vacuum system. I built that, man. That's a vacuum pump out of a dentist office. And of course, it's vacuum. I just made these for cylinders, the same as an air tank. I made two of them because I didn't have a big enough pipe to make one. But that's a vacuum system with a electronic switch for controlling the amount of vacuum that goes through it. The push switch there, kicked on right there. And that vacuum holds this wood down. And if your finger's underneath that, when you press that vacuum switch down there, it will smash your finger. It will just crush it to nothing. So it's pretty crazy. You got to be careful with all this stuff. This is the machine we use for that system. And none of that's connected to the internet, just to make sure. So that's a tour of my shop if y'all watch this later. And let's see, my mom lives right there. I don't think y'all can see through this window. Look at the links in the description below. Make sure y'all subscribe. That's where my mom lives, and I take care of her. I got cameras and everything all up in there. And I can see on the cell phone if she's having problems or anything. But she's no longer doesn't know what food is and stuff. I have to go over there and show her how to eat. It's pretty bad, man. But everybody abandoned her except me. I stayed here and I was like, I can't let my mom go down like that, man. And Louisville's healthcare system won't take her to a nursing home because it's so trashed up here. I mean, our healthcare system is, it's fucked up. It's messed up, man. Pardon my language, but it's messed up. And so there's no room for my mom right now. They're closing some of the nursing homes down due to so horrific conditions in them. You know, it's just something I never could figure out. Why didn't the government pay me? They'll pay somebody else to come over here for $9 an hour to help me, but they won't pay me to take care of my own mom. Think about this, $9,000 a month to put my mom in a nursing home, and they won't even pay me $5 an hour to sit here and keep her out of a nursing home. It's messed up. But anyway, so that's the deal, man. You guys got to see everything today. Let me wipe off this. Make sure y'all subscribe so that you know when I'm doing more of these. And if you have any old equipment you want to get rid of it, let me know. If any questions about banjo building, I'll try to answer them. I think the biggest question I can tell anybody about it is there's no money in it. But it sure is fun. If you like building stuff, man, it's a blast. Call Eric Sullivan, get you some parts. If you're a banjo player like me, buy a Sullivan banjo, man. They're made in America. You see me, we're making this stuff. This is what we do. We're not ordering stuff from China or some foreign country that hates us. We're here making it right here in America, man. This is America. Yeah. So, if you get a chance, visit the Sullivan Banjo Company. I'm not an employee, so if I say a cuss or say anything, he's not responsible for anything I do. I'm my own independent contractor. So if y'all hear me cussing or you think I'm a Trump supporter or whatever, he ain't got nothing to do with it. He couldn't fire me if he wanted. But yeah, man, I greatly appreciate everybody coming here. And having all the hobos show up, that was like a birthday present, man. Yeah. Man, I ain't seen some of you guys in so long. Okay, well, I'm going to end this stream here, and I'm going to go take a break, and we'll do another stream tonight with the guitar work, probably about 6. But make sure y'all subscribe so that y'all can come on in and see the guitar neck. We're going to take the guitar neck and eventually turn it into a banjo neck. We're going to copy the Fender Strat style, and with the bolt together kits I have, we're going to put it's going to look like a Fender Strat neck on a banjo. And it's going to be the first bolt-together banjo. No glue whatsoever. Maybe the fretboard, but I'm trying to use screws on it too. I might put the screws where the mother of pearl is. So, okay, so subscribe and make sure you do a thumbs up, and I'll see y'all tonight if you want. See you later.